Well, Wolf, we're talking about Victoria Nuland, the top U.S. diplomat for Europe, Assistant Secretary. This is about a phone call she was having with the U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Geoff Pyatt. And I got to say, for a diplomatic reporter like me, it was a fascinating conversation. You know, there's been a lot of turmoil, political chaos in Ukraine, and Nuland and Pyatt were talking about a power-sharing deal that they're trying to broker behind the scenes between the opposition and the government. And Nuland was very candid about what candidates the U.S. wanted to see in the government, and she expressed a lot of frustration about the European Union, who the U.S. kind of feels is dragging its feet a little bit and putting pressure on the Ukrainian government. And then she basically said that they thought the EU shouldn't be involved and the UN should send in an envoy. And let's take a listen to a little clip of this phone call.
He's now gotten both Seri and Ban Ki-moon to agree that Seri could come in Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
So that would be great, I think, to help glue this thing and have the UN help glue it. And, you know, the EU.
No, exactly. And I think we've got to do something to make it stick together, because you can be pretty sure that if it does start to gain altitude, the Russians will be working behind the scenes to try to torpedo it.
So not such diplomatic language from this diplomat, but if you know Victoria Nuland, Wolf, you know she's a very plain-speaking, tough-talking diplomat. The State Department not denying that the call took place, but they are saying that Victoria did apologize to her colleagues at the EU.
How did this phone conversation get leaked?
Well, the U.S. is pretty clear that they think the Russians did it. You know, that there's been a lot of tension between Russia and the United States over Ukraine. The U.S. is accusing Russia of trying to use undue influence on the government here. And the Russians are accusing the U.S. of meddling. And a call like this certainly makes clear that the U.S. was involved in some way. And what the State Department is saying is they're calling this a new low in Russian tradecraft, which is code for espionage. So it's really interesting. I mean, on one hand, the United States is upset that its diplomats are being bugged, but at the same time, it doesn't really have a lot to say because of the NSA revelations.
You would think they would be using a secure line on a conversation like that, but clearly not so secure.